All right, so this has to be one of the most frequently asked questions of me, so I figured I'd make a video. It's which lens did you use, or which lens should I buy, or which lens is perfect for me? And although everyone's shooting scenarios are different, I recommend this type of lens without fail every single time, because I believe every filmmaker should have this lens in their kit. This lens has actually taught me a lot, which is weird to think that a lens would teach me something, but I'll explain later on in the video what this lens specifically taught me and what I feel like it would teach you. This is a 24-70, which works really well on full frame sensor cameras, which just means it's a larger sensor. For smaller sensors, the equivalent would be a 17-55 or 18-55 f2.8. Another lens that I highly recommend is a 24-105 f4. That one I actually recommend to beginners more, specifically because there are more focal lengths that they can play with. But let's not waste any time and let's get right into the reasons why you need to buy one of these lenses or have one of these lenses in your kit if you don't already. I'm gonna start right off the bat with the reason that most people don't think about, and that is the fact that this lens teaches you a lot about filmmaking. I'm not talking about scripting technique, lighting, or anything technical like that. I'm sticking to the lens aspect, but this lens teaches you which focal lengths you really enjoy. Let me explain. If you're a beginner or if you're somebody that's only used prime lenses, you haven't had the chance to go from 24, 35, 50, 70 in a matter of seconds during any given shooting scenario. So most likely you don't have the mental image of what each focal length looks like ingrained in your head, since you don't have the luxury of changing focal lengths within seconds. When I first started shooting, I really loved the 85mm focal length. I invested a ton of money into the Canon 85 f1.2 bowling ball of a lens because I thought I really enjoyed that focal length. And although I did, once I got the lens and spent a majority of my investment into that one specific prime lens, I realized that it didn't work for every shooting scenario. I love the blurry background, the compression, and all of that. And most people just starting out want the shallowest, blurriest background possible. And I completely understand that because that is a beautiful look, but I couldn't really tell a story, especially because I couldn't switch focal lengths quickly with that one prime lens that I thought I liked. If I would have purchased a 24-70 right off the bat, I would have learned really quickly that I thoroughly enjoy 24mm. I really enjoy the 35mm focal length, and 50mm is one of my favorite focal lengths. And I would have learned that without spending thousands of dollars on different prime lenses that I thought I was gonna enjoy. So owning a mid-range zoom right off the bat will save you tons of money, heartache, and will teach you which focal lengths you actually enjoy using. Although I know some of you may argue that you can learn which focal lengths you like without buying a zoom, you will never get the same feeling of going from 24 to 70 in a matter of seconds, looking at your subject and seeing how each focal length plays into your personal storytelling without having a zoom like this one. And now for my second reason that I know is gonna ruffle a couple of prime loving feathers. Zoom lenses are practically as good as prime lenses nowadays. Let me explain before you get all crazy and angry in the comment section. I know that most prime lenses can open up their aperture wider, meaning they can let in more light, have a shallower depth of field. And while I do see that as extremely beneficial, I'm specifically talking about image quality. If you make videos and you call yourself a videographer, filmmaker, or cinematographer, whatever word you choose to define yourself as a content creator, you most likely aren't wanting the sharpest images possible, even though you may think you do. Most photography lenses, which are the lenses that 90% of video creators are gonna be using, are clinical. They're extremely sharp. They don't have crazy flares or anything like that. and they are lacking a good amount of character, which is fine if you're looking for a sharp clinical look. But most videographers, filmmakers, cinematographers, what have you, are not going for the sharpest images possible because frankly, it looks digital and it's not that pleasing to the eye. So my point about saying that the image quality with zoom lenses is basically just as good as prime lenses is to say that the fact that they are plenty sharp. Yes, prime lenses might be a little bit sharper, but you are not wanting a really sharp image, trust me, unless you're specifically going for that for the type of shoot or film or documentary that you're shooting. This is just my opinion, but I would say to save some money and get a zoom lens instead of a bunch of prime lenses, because you're probably gonna soften those lenses anyways, and now you have more versatility. I'm not saying all these things to knock prime lenses and say you should never buy them, but I do see a bunch of beginners having some misconceptions about them on Facebook groups, YouTube, and different places, thinking that prime lenses have this optical superiority that makes them stand out above all the zoom lenses. And that frankly is just not the case when it comes to photo glass. Yes, maybe vintage lenses or some cinema lenses do have that softer cinematic look, but with photo lenses, you're basically buying a bunch of f2.8 primes when you're getting a zoom lens. I just want to demystify a bunch of these ideas that are centered around prime lenses and zoom lenses that frankly don't matter that much. And you really should just buy a zoom lens instead of getting all the primes and giving yourself a headache changing lenses on set. With that being said, the last reason in this video, and the most obvious one, is that they are incredibly more versatile. If you're a videographer, and I'm making the distinction between videographer and cinematographer, and you are shooting events or running gun style anything, you need a zoom lens. You probably shouldn't be shooting those things with prime lenses because you'll miss moments switching out lenses as opposed to just having a zoom lens and zooming in and out to your desired focal length. I know this is common knowledge, but I'm mainly speaking to the beginner that feels like they need to buy prime lenses for the best image quality. Get a zoom lens. 100% buy a zoom lens. Every videographer should have one in their kit. Along with the versatility, you're able to tell stories much better and capture what's in your mind a lot quicker because you won't have to switch lenses as often. But yeah, so I haven't given any specific 24-70, 24-105 lens recommendations. I will link a couple down below. I mainly shoot with Sigma lenses because they've proven themselves to be the most reliable for me personally, and I don't see the benefit in buying Canon branded lenses or Lumix branded lenses as much as the money I could save with these, and they basically do the same thing. So check out the links down below for the best deals on all the lenses that I personally recommend. I do get a little bit of kickback, so if you do purchase anything using those links, it really supports this channel, as well as everything in this video, all the video examples, everything. This talking head was graded using Phantom LUTs, which I'll also link down in the description. I also get a kickback from that if you do want to support the channel. But yeah, if this video was helpful or you just enjoyed hearing me ramble on for a couple minutes about a boring old zoom lens, then consider subscribing, like the video, and make sure you comment down below if it was helpful for you in any way. And I'll see you in the next one.